Hello everyone and welcome back to Chronosplays Apollo Justice Ace Attorney. Today, well, Phoenix is going to tell us what's going on with his little, murder? As was said before, we alternated between two decks of cards that night. And that was said before. The two decks of the club have different colors, blue and red. One color per deck. Why use different color backs? If we use the same color, the two decks might get mixed up. You use different colors and they still get mixed up. We used the red deck for the last game. I see, but that's odd. For some reason, I have this impression that you were using the blue cards. Yeah, me too, because we looked at the cards. I'm sure someone said something about blue cards. Whatever. In the end, the one card of the wrong color got into the mix, which means there was cheating. Yeah, a card slipped into the deck from would seem to indicate cheating, yet this card raises two serious questions. Apollo? Yeah? Let's consider the first question, shall we? Think. In the last game, when was the card swapped? When? There are three broad possibilities here. It could have been swapped before the murder, during the murder, or after the murder. Well, yeah, thanks for the new news bulletin, Mr. Wright. Of course it was swapped. Oh, it might be as simple as you think, Mr. Payne, or it might not be. Yeah. I'd like to hear what Apollo thinks first. What do you think when do you think the cards were swapped? When was the card swapped into the deck? Why would I think any of these right now? So she said I put that in Phoenix's deck. After the murder then? I don't know. I wouldn't say during the murder, because let's say Olga is the murderer, right? So what did Phoenix do? Run in, swap out the cards? I don't know. Let's say after. Perhaps it happened after the murder? What's that? Ridiculous. What's the point of cheating after the hand's been shown? It's silly. Yeah, but tell me, how did you swap cards during the game? I'll take silly over impossible. Take it from me, son. There's a lot of silly in this world. I mean, look at my hair. But very little impossible. Oh? Even when the backs of the cards are different colors? If you pulled that during the game, you'd be caught in no time. Ugh. Quite true. That would mean that the blue card in question was swapped after the hand was shown. After the murder. Okay, this is going past silly and straight onto crazy. I ask again, what's the point of cheating after the game's over? Who would do it? Who indeed? That's one of the mysteries before us. There's another? Yeah, a simple yet decisive question must be asked. Who swapped the red card for the blue card? Who? What are we, owls? Game and murder is done. The victim is dead. Only two remain in the room. Alive, that is. The defendant, Phoenix Wright, and our witness, Olga O'Reilly. Okay, so who was it that swapped the card? It was Olga? She said she swapped the card. Well, it must have been Olga who swapped the card. She was trying to cover up evidence of the cheating. That does make some sense. Sorry, but there's a problem with that explanation. Huh? The swapped card was from the wrong deck. Yes, a blue card was stuck into a red hand. Mixing a card from the wrong deck when the backs are different colors? Remember that you're talking about Olga O'Reilly. She was the dealer. Do you really think she would have made such a novice mistake? Actually, I have trouble imagining even the judge making that mistake. Give it a little more thought, Apollo. Okay. Someone else? The one who swapped the cards wasn't Mr. Wright, of course. And, well, it doesn't seem like it could have been Olga O'Reilly either. What are you suggesting? It's hardly a logical conclusion, I'll admit. As the defense, I think it only makes sense for you to name Ms. O'Reilly at this point. Yeah, I know, but she was the one who dealt the cards, right? I just can't believe she would make the mistake of swapping the wrong color card. If the card was swapped during the game, it would be obvious. Something you would like to share with the court, Mr. Wright? Oh, my apologies, Your Honor. I was just thinking about how much fun this all is. Fun? How about confusing? I have no idea what the defense is claiming, Your Honor. Also, this is a murder trial. Nothing about this is supposed to be fun. If the one who swapped the card wasn't the defendant and it wasn't Ms. O'Reilly, then who was it? Yeah, well, that is the question, isn't it? Precisely. Huh? I believe we're about to see this case take a new direction. A new direction? Like the band? We'll find that, indeed, after the murder, someone swapped one of the cards in the victim's hands. And that someone made two critical mistakes. I'm sure you're going to tell us the first was swapping the wrong color card. Because the one who did the swap didn't know two colors of cards were being used. The other was the number of cards. Number on the cards? The person placed the fifth ace with the king. I'm sure whoever swapped it wasn't expecting there to be a fifth ace, after all. All they knew was that the game had been won with a full house. So they picked up a king from the table and swapped it in. But there's one problem. According to our case record, this person doesn't exist. True. Not until now, but you have to admit the possibility of a fourth person. Do I? Though it's more than a possibility. There was someone else there that night on the scene of the crime. What? I believe the judge spoke truthfully earlier. You do make trials ridiculous, Mr. Wright. This trial has proceeded on one critical assumption, namely that at the time of the incident, there were only 3 people in the room. I believe this new evidence, shall we say, overturns that assumption. The problem is that you chose to conceal this information from the court. I suppose that is a problem, yes. Court is adjourned for a brief recess. Mr. Gavin, I'll see you in my chambers during this recess. Certainly, Your Honor. Why? Very well. This trial... Oh, because he withheld information from us? Trial will resume in 20 minutes. I guess? I mean, you shouldn't do that if you're innocent. You're only doing that if you're guilty. That was quite unexpected, Mr. Wright. The sudden claim that there was another person at the scene of the crime like that? Suddenly claim. I must ask, is it the truth? Well now, I think you know the answer to that. Being mysterious, are we? Sadly, I have no time for mysteries. I only ask that you leave the defending to your defense in the future. Otherwise, I cannot guarantee the outcome. I see you haven't mellowed out one bit, Christoph. Justice? Yes, sir? The judge has summoned you to this chamber, so carry on without me. You did well, Apollo. Can I ask you something? Sure. That locket you wear. Is that really yours, Mr. Wright? You're wondering about the victim's disappearing locket. Here, you can take a look at it. That's a picture of my daughter in there. Okay. Why's she dressed like that, right? I'm just surprised to hear you had a daughter. Most people are. Perhaps you'll meet her one of these days. One more question. The one who cheated that night, was it you? What do you think? Huh? You know what happened 7 years ago. What I did. Unreasonable if you think I might cheat. I never! Honest! Also, I don't know what happened 7 years ago. But it is odd that he managed to go undefeated for 7 whole years. Want to know something? There's only one game where you can be dealt bad cards all night and still win. Poker. You see, poker is all about reading your opponent. And that way, it's a lot like a court case. Poker is like trial law? Figure out what your opponent is thinking, and you win. Well, yeah, but that's harder than it sounds. I think not. Try as they might to conceal it, everyone reveals their true thoughts in the end. Their body language can become a valuable source of information. You're kidding. That witness, for instance, Miss O'Reilly. She would touch the back of her neck during certain points of the testimony. Did you notice? No. Oh, fuck. Is that gonna be a thing? No, come on, who noticed that? Words, habits, twitches, it's all information for the reading. I mean, sometimes it's very obvious when they're lying, right? That's a secret to winning, Apollo, because every character does have a tell, but something is like touching the back of your head, not so much. Someone taught me, and now I pass that secret on to you. But I'm not worthy. I mean, there's no way I'll pick up these signals. No, you can do it. Huh? You just don't know it yet. Oh, it's like you're dead, but you don't know it yet. What's he talking about? But you will soon. Ah, almost forgot. One more thing about this case. You should know I haven't told the truth to anyone yet. What? I knew it. I have my reasons, of course. All shall be revealed. And Apollo, I need you to be there, defending me. I need your power. My, power? I had no idea my cords of steel were that special. It's time. The real trial begins now. Do your best. Or I'm fucked. To be continued. Favorite part? I mean, yeah, sure, I guess I'll put down here. 3rd episode. Yeah. At least you asked me if I want to go back, just in case I do end the episode on those. Very rare to do, actually, because I don't know when we're going to get to, like, a recess or an ending point of a trial. Guess I could just play, but I have limited time, so... Court will now reconvene. Has our witness, Mr. Olga O'Reilly, recovered? Yeah, Your Honor. Well, she's regaining consciousness. Perhaps we're going to hear her version of the events again. That's the thing, you see, she's quite fatigued. You're looking a bit fatigued yourself, Mr. Payne. Sadly, fatigue is insufficient ground for refusing to testify or prosecute. The defense would like to request that Miss O'Reilly take the stand. Very well. The witness will take the stand. Perhaps you can repeat your name and profession? Or perhaps you would rather admit you're a poor liar and a poor loser. Not. Are you from, like, Pokemon Sapphire? Not Sapphire, Ruby? Didn't they have those bandanas? My name's Olga O'Reilly. That's the truth. I'm a pro dealer. People call me Olga Quick Fingers O'Reilly. That's nothing to do with cards, though. That's more of a college thing. Oh, O'Reilly. Wanna know something else? I'm not really Russian. And my last name, I couldn't tell by your voice at all. My last name sounds like O'Reilly. Yeah, I know. Was that not supposed to... Maybe I spent too much time on the internet, but the way that was spelled, it was definitely gonna be O'Reilly. There! That's the truth. I hope you're satisfied. Witness! How did you not overheat with all those clothes on in the court? You will tell the court what you were really up to that night. Fine, I'll talk. We had a plan, see? Let me remind you that you're currently under oath. Any further fabrications will have serious consequences. Fine. Like I said, I'm a pro. That guy, Smith, hired me to do what I do best. I was planning at the Borscht Bowl Club several days prior to the night of the game. As a waitress. So you were in cahoots with the victim. Not that he needed my help. Smith is a really well-known poker player in some circles. But winning wasn't the main purpose of that game. It was about destroying a legend, the unbeatable Phoenix Wright. The plan was simple, elegant, really. You see, we set up a trap of sorts. I was to plant a card in Wright's pockets beforehand, and then deal 5 aces during one of their games. When their hands were revealed, Smith would call him out and search Wright. He would then pull out the planted card and the trap would snap shut. You swap the cards. Suppose as a cheater and losing on top of it, it would have made a great double play. Just like that, the legend would be dashed to pieces. Indeed. Getting caught red-handed at cheating would cast doubt on his prior wins. 7-year legend destroyed in one little card. But that was the plan. Oh really, oh really. How droll. But it appears you made quite the mistake. A mistake? I agree, the trap was elegant. Yet, what happened to the planted card? Hey, that's right. He's lucky, I'll give him that. You'd have to be to slip free from a trap laid by, quick fingers, oh really? Oh really? The witness would be much cuter if she dispensed with the evil mastermind shtick. Cute? Who wants to be cute? I'm fucking adorable, though, actually. I'm not cute. Yes, you are. I'm bad. You hear me? Bad. Okay. When you're through being bad, perhaps you could testify to the court. Tell us about this trap and how it was sprung. Witness testimony. The best laid traps. That night I planted the card like I was supposed to, and Wright lost the last hand, just like he was supposed to. Then Smith searched him, but the planted card was gone. The trap failed. The next moment, Wright picked up a bottle and swung it. It wasn't me who hit Smith. It was that no-good cheated defendant. A surprising frank testimony that still leaves us mostly in the dark. Trap was perfect, I tell you, perfect. It's that rotten cheater hadn't messed it up. Look who's talking. Well, the testimony, for what it's worth, is all yours, Mr. Justice. Oh, with witnesses like her, who needs criminals? And with defendants like Mr. Wright, who needs prosecutors? Alright, so let's press on everything. The planted card, which was it exactly? The trump card. The 5 of hearts. Let me guess, Mr. Wright was to have switched the 5 with the ace to make it a full house. At least that's what you were going to accuse him of doing, therefore ruining the legend. I slid it in Mr. Wright's pocket. And when was this? Why, before the match, of course. While he was eating. At the Borscht Bowl Club, we served borscht and suckers. Rummy never to go there. Of course, the card was to make a grand debut during the game. Like a good borscht, a good plot must be cooked up early and allowed to thicken. I feel like you probably should just keep your waitress job because you seem to really like borscht. So everything went according to plan. Exactly. The 5th hit came up, so it was obvious the switch went off without a hitch. Once the extra card was found out in his pocket, Wright would be forever known as the cheat and a fraud. There are worse things to be known as, I suppose. That's what happened with the search. The card disappeared. Yeah, my trump card, the 5 of hearts. Gone, without a trace. Poof, zippo. We searched every nook and cranny. Yeah, every cavity too. Even hidden inside his cute little hat. It is kind of cute. But the card was nowhere to be found. Is this correct? Never in my long storied career. Never has quick figures really been so readily duped. Oh, really? Well, so what happened to the 5 of hearts? Don't look at me. Why don't you ask that cheating lying two-faced defendant? So the 5 of hearts still missing in action. So that's probably going to be a huge thing. Wait, isn't that a little odd? What's odd? You searched Mr. Wright thoroughly and found nothing, which means he didn't cheat, which means he had no reason to strike the victim. Well, heart attack? What was that just now? I sensed something. Something wrong, Mr. Justice. No, nothing. Everything went gray for a second. What to do? Should I press her a little harder? Oh, you press the shit out of her. Miss O'Reilly, you're hiding something. What are you talking about? Me, Quick Fingers O'Reilly, hide something. The defense will refrain from baseless accusations. I have one question for the witness then. You say you saw the moment the defendant hit the victim. Is this true? Of course. I did see it, honest. I saw it when Mr. Wright hit him. Okay, so I saw it with my own eyes. I saw it. What's this weird vibe I'm getting? Use the force, Justice. She touches the back of her neck. Okay, yeah, we just had this. You don't need to give me a flashback, thank you. Touching her neck. She's not touching her neck right now. She's actually touching the back of her head. Don't zoom in on our boobs. What the fuck? Are we having a stroke right now? The sensation. Someone call 911! That twitch, it's clear. It's like I could perceive her habit. Like I couldn't before. Perceive! Miss O'Reilly, perhaps you are unaware of this yourself. Unaware of what? Whenever you get to a certain part of your testimony, you touch the back of your neck, even though it's actually the back of your head, with your left hand. My neck? So what? What indeed, Justice? I hadn't noticed anything of sorts. When she says the part of the testimony, she's subconsciously recalling something. Her body reacts to the memory, and she touches her neck. I'm sure of it. A memory? Would someone care to explain what he's babbling about? This is highly unusual, but let's ask the defense. You claim the witness is remembering something. Maybe you have evidence of this memory to show us. Her habit is scratching her neck whenever she talks about the moment of the crime. So, what would remind her most of the moment of the crime? So really, whenever you recall the crime that night, you scratch your neck. I've noticed it happen when you talk about the moment of the crime. There must be a reason behind this habit of yours. I believe the weapon that left an erasable impression on your neck is this. What? I mean, this is the only weapon we have. Whenever she talks about the moment of the crime, she touches her neck. Which reminds me more of the moment of this bottle, the murder weapon. But something doesn't fit. If you were only the witness to the crime, why would that make you touch your neck like you're in pain? What's he talking about? It was Mrs. Smith, the victim, who was hit, not you. This is a cross-examination, not a cross-wall conjecture. The witness's habits, they're completely irrelevant. Justice, I'll admit, I'm a bit confused myself. This is certainly a unique cross-examination. I'll explain later. Just trust me. Now's our only chance to break her. Miss O'Reilly, please testify in detail about the moment of the crime. The very moment. Yes, I'm knowing nothing. We know you're not Russian. Witness will testify, please. How'd you get dressed so quick? Fine. He's the one who did it. I didn't let him out of my sight until the cops showed up. Hold it! You seem uneasy. You try standing up here. Her eyes are dotting all over the place. I must be getting warm. Tell me, after the crime, what was the defendant like? He must have been stunned by the weight of his crime. He sat in daze at the table until the cops came. Intriguing. I believe you've gotten all the testimony we're going to get out of this witness. What do you think about her testimony? I'll tell you what I think. Her testimony is flawed. It's basically bogus. It contradicts the evidence. What's that? I mean, we know he didn't sit at the table either, right? He went upstairs and did the thing, like he called. Well, show us this evidence, Mr. Justice. This evidence claims contradicts the testimony. She didn't let him out of his sight until the cops got there. I know there's some evidence that contradicts that. Yeah. Take that! Miss O'Reilly, we have a record here that clearly contradicts what you said. It states that the police were alerted by a report from the defendant. And we know the defendant left the room, climbed the stairs, and made that phone call from the first floor of the Borscht Bull Club. Eek! Rack. So explain how you kept your eyes on the defendant when he left the room entirely. Eek! It was lobster. Where'd that come from? The man who picked up the bottle and swung it that night wasn't the defendant. It was the clock! can see they had a higher budget for this when they made this one. We never got things like this in the original. Showtime. You dirty cheat. Check his pockets now. It's gone. That's not Olga. You lose. Aroo! Just then Smith grabbed the bottle from next to Wright and he hit me. You bitch. Why'd he hit me? You some master of cheating you are to turn out to be. Oh, yeah, okay, I guess that makes sense. Eek! When I came to, the victim was already dead, was that it? That's why I couldn't reveal who I really was. If it came out that I was in league with Smith, I'd be the suspect for sure. Well, I mean, yes, you're right. Where does this leave us? Madness, this is madness. I'm dreaming. It must have been me who was hit in the head with a bottle and imagining all this. Because our prosecution is at his wit's end, and frankly, I can't blame him. Mr. Gavin, what do you think of this turn of events? Mr. Gavin, sir? I believe that, as the defense in this case, we're compelled to call Mr. Riley a big fat liar. What? The three were in the room on the night of the murder, the defendant, victim, and her. And she has a motive. A motive? Her plot foiled, the witness got into an argument with her client, Mr. Smith. Denouement? I've never seen that word. The denouement of the argument was murder. The final part of a play, movie, or narrative. Oh, okay. Sure. What? I didn't. I'm no killer. It was a trap. Someone's trying to frame me. Hi. I was Olga all along. What a tangled web we weave when we practice to deceive. So tangled we catch ourselves in the process. Mr. Wright, did you eat Olga? Where'd she go? Such a hasty conclusion. Not like you, Christoph Gavin. What are you saying? Why not consider the other possibility? That there was another person in the room at the time of the murder. Right, like Mr. Wright was saying before recess. A single card was swapped into the victim's hand after the murder. And the one who swapped the card didn't have two colors of cards didn't know two colors of cards were being used. A fourth person. This theory again? Your fourth person doesn't exist. Indeed. That's why I decided to bring this case to court. Here, where there's no escape and no chance of deception. The perfect place to catch the real criminal. The real criminal? Oh, it was the judge all along. And we're in luck. A clue to the real criminal's identity was kindly provided for us. And right at the beginning of the trial, no less. What? Oh, yeah, what? Apollo, perhaps you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, no, sorry, what? Remember what I said. The fourth person who swapped the card made one critical error. He or she wasn't considering the colors of the back of the cards. Right. But how could such an obvious mistake occur? The cards used for the last game were red. Yet, there's one person here, in our court, who thought those cards were blue. Me? Well, Apollo, think you can figure it out? Is it... Not me, I swear. Who is this fourth person? I don't always get to put on the spot like this. It's your first trial, man. Let's hear what the defense has to say. Who was it? Who thought it was... Gavin McGraw? As I expected. Your eyes and ears are sharp as your hair. I was right, and hey, what the fuck do you mean by hair? Christoph Gavin, you were the fourth person that night. But Mr. Gavin knows the color of the cards. How would he? As you can see, the photo of the crime scene is black and white for some fucking reason. And you can't tell which of the cards are blue. The ones on the floor or the table. But look! You can see the colors in this photo. Yes, but when he said the cards were blue, it was well before the evidence came to light. It's true the defendant was engaged in a game of poker with the victim, yet it was only that, a game, the purest sense. A competition, Your Honor. Competition? Well, we did mention the cards being blue when we examined the cards earlier. Well, Kristoff? Mr. Gavin?
Mr. Gavin, is something the matter?
Oh no, sorry, I had a momentary lapse in consciousness. Excuse me, it was just so sudden. Right, you aren't seriously accusing me, are you? Oh, Kristoff. You know even I'd never take a joke this far. This has gone beyond ridiculous, beyond dumb, beyond burger. This is insanity. The defendant accusing his own defense attorney of murder? I assure you, I'm quite sane. Well, I don't really know. What possible connection would Mr. Gavin have with the victim? I wasn't aware that I had a connection to Mr. Smith, either. Yeah, but Mr. Gavin and the victim have never even met. Well, what if they have? Huh? There is a possibility, after all. They may have met that night before the game started.
What are you suggesting?
Is this the truth Mr. Wright was staying silent about? Well, only one thing to do.
Mr. Wright, the defense would like to request that you testify in the court.
Objection. The defense would like to request no such thing. Mr. Gavin? Testimonies must relate to the case. How could anything happen before the game of poker be related?
I'm not sure I follow, Mr. Gavin.
As I explained earlier, the defense believes that Miss O'Reilly...
Am I to assume you speak for Mr. Justice in this? He is the defense, not you. Oh, that's where you fucked up, buddy!
Mr. Justice, the matter of Mr. Wright's testimony is up to you.
Oh, okay. Gulp.
Does this court, in your opinion, need to hear Mr. Wright's testimony?
Yeah, he was playing this all along, I guess.
Fucking 20D chest over here, and I intend to see it through. The defense would like to request that Mr. Wright testify to the court. At 2, Justice? You would betray me, your teacher. I'm sorry, Mr. Gavin, this isn't about loyalty.
This is about justice!
And truth. Very well. The defense... Is there a lawyer called Justice in real life? There would have to be, right? If you're born with that name, you're either becoming a cop or a fucking lawyer, right? Like, you have to. It's thematic. Very well. The defendant, Mr. Wright, will take the stand, please. Appetite before murder. That evening, Kristoff and I had dinner. We sat at the table in this photograph. Shady Smith walked in 5 minutes after Kristoff left. When the trap failed, Smith hit the waitress. The girl was knocked out cold, and Smith was uncontrollable. I left to call the police. When I returned, he was dead, blood steaming from the cut on his forehead. That's when I made another call to defense attorney Gavin.
Mr. Gavin, you were at the Borscht Bowl Club that night of the murder?
I dined with him rather frequently.
And he talked to the defendant on the phone directly after the murder?
Quite against my will, I had become involved in a murder. Another one. I thought I might need a lawyer, so I called him. You were planning this all along, weren't you? Right. Just because you wanted to drag me into your little murder trial. The only thing I want is the truth. As I did back then and now. I thought my office was doing you a favor when we took the defense. It appears that I was wrong. Very well, the defense may cross-examine the witness. Justice! Sir! He's lying, and you're going to expose him. Understood, sir. Mr. Gavin versus Mr. Wright. This can't end well. Why can't I have a normal trial? Because you're in a video game. Alright, so... Hold it. You had dinner with Mr. Gavin? Yeah, he dines with me at Borscht Bowl Club quite frequently. We were enjoying our usual dinner at our usual spot, as usual. Usual? I always eat at the table closest to the piano. I'm lazy. I see. Where Mr. Smith was sitting. So the plates and such on the table are from your dinner? Indeed. The remnants of my meal with Kristoff. We dined for 2 hours, and then Kristoff left. After that... 5 minutes? So the two of them could have passed in the restaurant during the time. That would have been a fateful encounter, to be sure.
Oh, Mr. Wright. What was it you said? Kristoff Gavin and Shady Smith may have met?
Excuse me. I believe I did say that.
Here, I was all nervous about this meeting. And now we hear they just passed in the hall?
That does seem a little weak as a pretext of murder. Unless he stepped on his shoes or something. Oh, it would be, if it weren't for all that really happened. What are you hiding this time? Okay. Oh, no, go back. I must go back. There. About this failed trap. This is the same trap that Miss Olga O'Reilly mentioned. Yeah, I know, we just saw this. What is Danganronpa? They did have a lot of flashbacks in the original, you're not wrong. Actually, it was Danganronpa wasn't even too bad either. Well, no, okay. It was during the trial. The flashbacks in the trial were absurd sometimes. What was it 999 that had a lot of flashbacks as well? Or was it just Phoenix Wright? Pet Detective. Yeah, a harmless prank in essence. It was by quick fate that I happened to discover it. A quirk? Oh, a quirk of fate. Okay. I happened to put my hand in my pocket and found a card. The card she planted. Yeah, I snuck a peek in and found it was the Five of Hearts. I had a feeling something might happen, so I disposed of the card. Before the game. Disposed? Where? Oh, there was an empty bottle of grape juice I had been drinking right beside me. I threw the card inside the bottle.
The empty bottle of grape juice?
The murder weapon! Yeah, I rolled it up and shoved it in. You fucking liar. No, you didn't. Could have been removed, Chronos. Okay, well, maybe. Yeah, roll up and shove it in. The colored glass makes it hard to see. Bottle of wits. The battle of wits between the deceiver and the would-be deceived. Sounds like a terrific drama. Card inside the murder weapon? That's strange. Did the police miss it in their investigation? Maybe I'll take a look. Mr. Wright, the poker head of courtroom number 3 approves of the battle of wits. Please revive your testimony. Okay. They'll probably present the bottle there because there is no card in the bottle. Why in the bottle? I perceived my opponent's intent immediately. I'm used to entrapment, you see. I knew it was coming. Oh, so you struck first. I like that. I know every trick in the book. They don't work on me. At least when you're lucky and you stick your hand in your pocket, they don't. Very true, actually. You made the call to the police from the first floor of the restaurant, correct? Exactly. Cell phones don't get signal down in the hideout. Was anyone else in the first floor at the time? Not a soul. It was the middle of the night, after all. So there, in the darkened restaurant, I called the cops. After making the call, I returned to the hideout. It didn't seem right to leave the injured waitress alone. To be fair, you shouldn't have left her alone until he was out of the room. You should not have left an unconscious assault victim in the room with the person that assaulted her, dog. And when you returned, the victim was already dead. Yes, I'll admit I was a little startled when I walked in. A little. He was bleeding from his forehead, after all. Guess I'd be startled too if I walked in on a scene like that, or a dead body. Could you explain why you called Mr. Gravin McGraw? I'd obviously gotten involved in a rather sticky affair, and I figured Kristoff's Law would give me a friend rate for my defense fees. Glad to hear you intend to pay. Oh, I'll pay in full, Kristoff. It was I who got you involved, after all. You may find the price of your defense quite high, my good friend. Quite high. Is this the truth that Mr. Wright was talking about? Justice, you know what they have to do. He's lying. Expose him. Now. Yes, sir. I have to think. What's Mr. Wright trying to tell me with his testimony? The truth has to be there somewhere. Well, the contradiction is the bottle doesn't have anything in it, right? Yeah. So I'm assuming I need to present the bottle here. Because it's not in here. Bottle's completely empty. Yeah. So present. Mr. Wright, if I may. Yeah. I examined the bottle, and it doesn't seem... I don't see any card in there. No? What, Mr. Wright? Surely ... isn't all you have to say for yourself. I can't say that I know what happened to the card. I did put it in the bottle, however. Huh? Perhaps the 5th person came and took it out. Oh, a 6th person could have helped. Mr. Gavin, Mr. Wright is your client. My apologies, Your Honor.
I won't have you disparaging our investigation either. We looked inside the bottle. There was nothing.
So what's going on? Mr. Wright hoodwinking us again? Or did the card just disappear? In any case, please continue your cross-examination. I'm afraid decisive contradiction calls for decisive evidence. Oh. Push him harder, Justice. Break him like a Kit Kat bar. It's just you and the witness in the ring. Go for the KO. Why do I get the feeling we're not on our client's side anymore? Because I don't think we are. Decisive evidence. Decisive evidence. Just gonna keep saying, Chronos? Yes. Decisive evidence. Guess we'll find that out next time. Thank you for watching. I'll see y'all next episode. Have a great day. Bye.